Hi everyone, welcome to the fourth and final installation of my vocal health series. Thank you for joining me. If you didn't watch the other three videos, I recommend that you start at video number 1. Those videos cover basic sort of vocal health ideas, vocal technique, how to warm up your voice properly so that you don't trash your vocal health. And today's video deals specifically with what to do when your voice actually does need some help. What to do when you got carried away at karaoke, or you've been singing with bad technique for a while and you need some help, or you're getting over a cold, or something like that. There are some things that we can do to help. Thing number 1, always and forever, that you can do to help your voice when it's not feeling well is hydrate. Drink lots of water. You should be doing this anyway, right? Hydrate throughout the day. That's what you need to do to maintain good vocal health, but especially when your voice is feeling icky, don't forget to hydrate. Hydrate extra. Always have a glass of water by you. Always be drinking some water. That's really important. Keep everything kind of lubricated, even if you're not really singing much. Which brings us to item 2, vocal rest. Vocal rest is a thing, and you should do it when your voice is not happy. Vocal rest, it gives your vocal folds a chance to rest and recover and get better. So if you're getting over a cold, if you've strained your voice, if you're feeling a little bit hoarse, just and rest, right? Vocal rest can look, it can look a few different ways. It can mean being completely silent for a day or two if you need to. I'm not gonna do that. I have a family. I need to talk to them. It would be weird if I didn't. So, if you can do that, great. If not, don't worry. You might just, if you're really bad off, you might just take a day or two and just whisper all the time. Or you might just speak really, really softly and only when you need to. At a minimum, if you're on vocal rest, if your voice needs some help, don't sing. If you're getting over a cold, don't sing. Don't practice, don't warm up, don't sing. Just give it a few days. Vocal rest. It's important. It's hard to do because you want to sing and talk to people and stuff, but don't do it. Another thing I like to do when my voice is feeling not very happy is tea, particularly licorice root tea. This brand is fine. It's the only brand I've ever tried. It's fine. Tea, for the most part, it's nice for your voice just because it's sort of warm and soothing and hydrating, right? Licorice root tea is, I think, the only herb that has actually been shown to have a healing effect on your voice, right? Lots of people will take slippery elm or whatever. Licorice root is really, really good. And I want to say, I'm 90% sure, but I'm not gonna look up a citation for you because I'm lazy. But I'm pretty sure that it has actually been shown to have a nice healing effect on your voice. So I always drink licorice root tea when I'm getting over a cold. If I've been singing too much or too poorly and I'm not feeling well in the throat area, I drink licorice root tea. I drink licorice root tea with a ton of honey. Honey can also be, very soothing. If you're having some snot problems dripping into your throat, it can also kind of help coat your throat a little bit to sort of protect it. It's protective, it's nice. So licorice root tea with a lot of honey. The other advantage of honey is, let's be real, I think licorice root tea tastes a little bit funky. It doesn't taste bad, it's not gross. It just has this aftertaste that is not what I'm expecting and not what I really want. I don't know. But if I put a ton of honey in my tea, in my licorice root tea, then that sort of evens out the taste for me, and I enjoy it. It's great. It's lovely. Tastes like honey. So, licorice root tea with a ton of honey. If you have been sick, particularly in the sinuses sick, right? If you've been congested, if you've had some postnasal drip, if you've had a sinus infection, I recommend your old friend the neti pot. I know what you're thinking. It's like waterboarding yourself. Well, I've never had another person waterboard me, but that's what I imagine it to be like. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not something I would just do because I enjoy it, right? It feels kind of funky. you're pouring water into your nose, and it's weird. The thing is, like, it doesn't feel like you're drowning. You do kind of get used to it. It's not the end of the world, but also, like, gross. It's gross. It's gross. And then the stuff comes out your nose, and it's ugh. So here's what you do. There's nothing in this. We're not gonna get gross here. But like okay. Step 1. Boil the bejesus out of some water. And I mean that, right? Because like there's gross stuff in water that's like alive, like brain-eating amoebas, right? Look it up. I don't want to get into it. But the important thing is you need to boil your water. I just use tap water, put some tap water in a pot. I throw like about a pinch of salt and a pinch of baking soda in there. Apparently that does something nice to the pH, and the salt is the really important thing. If it's about as salty as your tears, that's kind of what you're going for. And then I just boil the ever-loving germs out of it, right? I boil the microbes out of it. What you want to do is you want to get it up to a rolling boil, leave it at a rolling boil for 5 minutes, and then turn it off and let it come down to about body temperature so you don't burn yourself. Ugh. Also, neti potting yourself with cold water is it's awful. So body temperature is what you're going for. But really, 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 really boil the bejesus out of that water. Microwaves, not going to do it. I know you think they're going to do it, but you're wrong. They're not going to do it. Bottled water, it's usually just tap water, right? Even if it's like purified spring water, like no, it's not gonna work. You can boil that, it's fine. Distilled water, you can use distilled water. The thing is, distilled water only stays like sterile enough for you to use for about 24 hours after you open it. So if you have like a very small thing of distilled water, by all means use that. But if you get one of those like gallon jugs of distilled water, you can pretty much use that once. And then you need to start boiling it. So just dump some tap water in a pot, put some salt and baking soda in there, boil the F out of it, and then pour it in your face. When you pour it in your face, you're gonna first lean over a sink. This is very important. You're gonna take your glasses off because you don't want them to get gross. You gotta get your hair out of your face for the same reason. You're gonna put this right here. Remember, there's nothing in this. We're not gonna get too gross, although this is so weird. Lean over the sink and then kind of tilt your head this way, right? Like turn your head like you're looking to the side. And then you're gonna start pouring, and there's nothing in here. There's nothing in here. But like, as you pour, you're gonna, okay, there myself again. As you pour, you're gonna feel the water kind of go in, and then it's gonna come back out. If you've never done this before, you might just get like a couple of drips, let's be honest. After you've done it for a while and you've like actually started cleaning your sinuses out, you'll get a nice steady stream out the other nostril, and it will be super weird, but also oddly satisfying. Do that. Usually after I've done that, I do about half of the pot in one nostril, and then I have to kind of like, which is gross, but like get all that gunk out. And then I do it the other way and blow your nose a few times. And yeah, that's super good for your voice. Basically, it cleans all the gunk out of your nose, which does two neat things. One, it can kind of like, your sinuses are part of your resonating chamber that is important when you sing, and so it cleans them out so that there's more space, and it gives you a more acoustically effective face cave. So that's neat. But also, the gunk in there is gunk. It's gross. Germs can grow in there. You can get a sinus infection just from having gunk in your face. And it drips down into your throat. That's what gives you sore throats. It's what makes you hoarse. It's not good for your throat or your voice. So you want to keep stuff out of your face that will drip into your throat and jack with your vocal cords. Nobody wants that. But it's also the case that if I do this neti pot thing like once a week or so, I just don't get sinus infections. So that's neat. Use a neti pot. It's not fun, but it's worth it. We suffer for our art. All right, so let's say you have a sinus infection. You haven't been doing the neti pot thing, or you did and it didn't work. You get a sinus infection. You got the postnasal drip, you're feeling like poop, you're sick. What always happens to me, and what is just the worst for singing, is right about the time that I start to get over the sinus infection, the head cold, it settles in my chest and I start coughing. And that's terrible, because I'll take a nice deep breath and then I'm coughing and I'm singing and I'm coughing, and it's awful. So what I like to do when I have a cough to sort of help myself get over the cough earlier is steam inhalation. There's a couple of ways you can do this, right? Long hot showers are nice. You can boil some water in a pot and do the trick where you like put your head over it, like put a towel over your head and sort of like basically giving yourself a facial, which is nice. But I find that the most effective way is to just get yourself one of these here little steam inhaler things, right? And what you do here, these are not terribly expensive. You can get them on Amazon. They open up, pull a little bit of water in there, close it up, plug it in, turn it on, and then it's not plugged in. And then it'll go kind of whoosh, 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 and this sort of cold steam will come out here. Put it like this, and then just breathe normally for a while. Luke, I am your father. What I do is I just leave this plugged in someplace when I have a cough, and every time I pass it, I just turn it on, breathe in it for a minute or two throughout the day. I find that this helps me get over coughs quicker, but what's great is I find that it prevents me from getting coughs in the first place. So if I do the neti pot thing so I don't get a sinus infection, but if I do get a head cold, before I even start coughing, as soon as I get that head cold, I start using this thing. And that prevents it from settling in my chest, and I don't get a cough at all. I love it. It's great. So these are some things that you can do for yourself if you are having voice troubles. If you are sick, drink lots of water, vocal rest, licorice root tea with a ton of honey, use a neti pot, steam inhalation, one of these little guys. And in particular, the neti pot and the steam inhalation, that's gonna help prevent you from getting to the point where you need that licorice root tea. I hope this vocal health SOS helped, because, sickness happens, vocal strain happens, but there are things you can do to bounce back a lot quicker and to keep your voice as healthy as possible. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Have fun singing, stay healthy, yay!